Nebraska farmers remain behind normal in harvest completion for both corn and soybeans. The reasoning in some parts of the state is likely excess moisture that prevented combines from entering fields. Those that did go may have caused compaction issues on wet soils, and Nebraska Extension engineer Paul Jasa says growers may need to wait to till any ruts until those soils dry down. We talked with Paul earlier this week and started by asking him to explain how compaction happens.
Well, compaction, ideally the soil is half there, half not there, I like to say. The half that's there is the sand, silt, clay, nutrients, organic matter. The half that's not there is pore space. And ideally that pore space should be half air, half water for our plants to grow and for gas exchange to occur in the soil. Well, compaction, the solid things are non-compressible, so when we drive on a wet soil or do tillage, we squeeze the air space out, the pore space, so we lose the pores between the soil particles and the soil becomes denser.
How much moisture can cause a problem during harvest?
Well, ideally we'd like to stay off of real wet soils, because when soil particles are wet, they're lubricated, they actually slide easier under the weight of implement or weight of a tillage tool. To create the most compaction, you talk to someone who's building roads, they'll wet it down, they have a water truck out there wetting it down, and you get the what we call field capacity. About the wettest the soil can get and still be in its natural state without standing water is the worst time to be out there. That's when they want to pack the field, pack a road, actually a contractor does.
Now, certainly there are people who are going to be out in the field because you have to be at this point in the year, or at least once we get a little bit later because you have to be to get the crop in. How can you minimize it once you're out in the field? Well,
it turns out, yes, we do have to get that harvest in. Now, a small-time farmer, I grew up in northeast Nebraska, a lot of times Dad would wait for the ground to freeze. Frozen soil is non-compactable. Large farmers today can't afford to do that. You're going to lose too much crop. So what we want to do is minimize the negative effects of compaction. About 80–85% of the compaction occurs on the first pass. So when the combine's going through the field and a grain cart's going to be following, have the grain cart follow the same rows the combine did. It might take a longer auger on the unloading auger on the combine, but again, if you stay in the same path, I'm not going to do additional compaction. I have too many grain cart drivers say, I'm going to move over a couple of rows, spread out the compaction. I go, why compact more of the field?
What you're saying is, once it's compacted, you can't get more compacted than compacted.
Basically right. That's why I like controlled wheel traffic, drive in the same place. That soil structure then is going to support the weight. And again, that's the key, is are you supporting the weight? I get a lot of farmers call me and say, I got a huge grain cart, a huge combine, I'm out there harvesting, I got to do tillage, get rid of compaction. I ask them, do they have a rut? Do they create a lower area in the field? If they did, that's the pore space being squeezed out of the soil, reappearing as the rut on top. If I drive out there and don't leave a rut, I'm not causing compaction.
You said one of the things that could help in the future is maybe having multi-axle grain carts and combines that can help distribute weight.
It's true. When it comes to compaction, with 80–85% done on the first pass, let my front wheels do that, and the next tire is riding in the same track, and that's going to work. That's what our trucker friends do on the road to carry more weight, add more axles. Now, a lot of farmers say, oh, I'm going to put on duals. All duals does is add weight to the implement because of the weight of the tires themselves, but it also adds width to the compacted zone. The axle weight's still the same, so we're still going to have compaction there. So look at more axles.
If there are those ruts in the field, there are going to be a lot of farmers that want to till them up after harvest gets done, and probably before winter. Is that the right thing to do?
Well, when it comes to wet soil that is compactable, that's also the wet soil you do not want to till. Again, the soil particles are lubricated, tillage will cause additional compaction. And so the best thing to do is wait till it's a little drier and do real shallow tillage. That tire track, that rut you see out there, that compaction might be 2, 3, 4 feet deep. A disc on top's not going to fix that, but a real light disking might smooth it out enough that you can plant across it next year. What I want to do is attack compaction when the soil is dry so I can get fracturing.
How wet is too wet?
If I can take a handful of soil down at tillage depth, make a mud ball and it sticks together, and I drop it and it still sticks together, that's probably too wet. That's an old-time rule, and again, too many people look at the surface. The surface looks dry. But down at tillage depth, maybe with a disc it's 6 inches, maybe with a chisel plow it's 12 inches. Check down there, because that's where the weight of the implement's causing more compaction yet.
How can cover crops help?
Cover crops, no-till, anything I can do to leave roots in the soil. It's going to be like rebar and concrete, help build some structure. The quickest way to destroy soil structure is do tillage. Once I do tillage, I make a compaction layer down underneath. A lot of our harvest ruts are as deep as I till because there is no soil structure. So if I can park the tillage tools, use no-till, and use cover crops, get more roots out there, it's going to help build soil structure so I can support the weight of my combine, my grain cart.
We'll put more information about compaction during and after harvest on the Market Journal website.